Howdy, folks. Welcome to an all-new episode of So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is one of your Thursday episodes. We have two episodes for you today. I had to take off Wednesday, and we have a Summer House recap with Sophie Ross. That was a lot of fun. So that is out there as well if you're looking just for a straight recap. And then we're going to, just you and I, we're going to talk about some pop culture stories because there's a lot going on. I wanted to talk a little bit more about Jill Zarin and go over that story. And there's a handful of stories that I wanted to talk about. But how are you guys? Are you okay? Listen, I don't think anybody really needs this podcast, but I did get some messages. And I put it on my Instagram that I wasn't feeling well. But then I got some messages today that I felt bad. They were like, oh, I thought something happened to Rebecca or the baby. And that horrified me. And I was like, no, I just didn't feel good. I deal with this this little bit of a heart flutter that it's called atrial fibrillation, and sometimes it just happens from time to time, and it's a little freaky, but it's okay. And I couldn't sit down to do an episode. I just thought it would be better to get rest. So thank you. And I'm sorry if I worried anybody, but we are back stronger than ever. And listen, we're going to start off with just, I think, the saddest story, and that's not Jill Zarin. No, that's not Jill Zarin. Is that we lost a great actor and father and husband and, kind of a pop culture figure, because we lost James Vanderbeek. Today at the age of 48. I think he was most known for his role as Dawson on Dawson's Creek, but he was so much more to so many people. And his family wrote on a statement on Instagram saying, our beloved James Vanderbeek passed peacefully this morning. He met his final days with courage, faith, and grace. There is much to share regarding his wishes, love for humanity, and the sacredness of time. Those days will come. For now, we ask for peaceful privacy as we grieve our loving husband, father, son, brother, and friend. And he had been dealing with it's colorectal cancer. And he'd been fighting this. He was first diagnosed August of 2023. And he told People magazine in 2024 that he'd been privately dealing with the diagnosis for like a year, and he was taking steps to resolve it with the support of his incredible family, he said. And he really did feel good about his prognosis, and he did everything to fight this. He has 6 kids. He was living in Los Angeles, but moved to Texas with his family. And it's the more I read about Mr. Vanderbeek today, I just realize I think he's so beloved by us pop culture junkies, but he was obviously so beloved by his family and his friends, and so many of them spent time with him over his last couple days on Earth and have written some beautiful passages about him. Alfonso Ribeira, the host of Dancing with the Stars, he was out there with him. Stacy Keebler wrote this beautiful Instagram post of them watching the sunset together these last couple of days. And you just get the sense of that this man really meant so much to so many people. And now a lot of us, we'll just always remember watching Dawson's Creek as youngsters, or somewhat young, younger. And I've thought so much today, and we've talked about this concept of loving pop culture so much and having these things mean so much to us, that when somebody like James Vanderbeek passes, it really reminds us of mortality and the passage of time, and how much these moments, even though we didn't know him in real life, how much their work meant to us, and that it added something to our daily lives. And so, his family right now, they have a GoFundMe because he actually had to sell Dawson's Creek memorabilia, his own Dawson's Creek memorabilia, to pay for his treatment. I know his cast did a fundraiser for him on Broadway, and he was supposed to participate in that and couldn't. And so Lin-Manuel Miranda replaced him for that night, and they did a script reading of the pilot episode of Dawson's Creek. And you could tell how his cast, he was so beloved by the cast of Dawson's Creek. but they are raising money for his family and to cover medical expenses and things like that. I know they were trying to raise $500,000, and in less than a day, it has already raised close to $1 million. And now they changed it to like trying to raise $1.1 million. I mean, 6 young kids. I also urge you to go to his Instagram and read some of his posts with his daughters and his children. And just, he really seemed to have a certain perspective on life that I think we all could, and really believed in heaven. And, I thought it was, I think we can always say this. This is something I was talking with my friend Allison today, and, fuck cancer. Fuck cancer. We don't all agree on a lot these days, but I think one thing that we can all agree on is fuck cancer. I always joke. I'm like, there's not one other person like, you know what? Cancer gets a bad rap. I think cancer is pretty cool, and I'm not going to have you besmirch the good name of cancer. No, fuck cancer. That we can unify on. And if we can unify on that, that's a foundation. That's some place to start. So, put on your Paula Cole today, sing I Don't Want to Wait, and just think of how many amazing memories that you had watching the projects that he was involved with, whether it be Varsity Blues, Dawson's Creek, the Bee in Apartment 23, if anybody remembers that sitcom. And give a good thought to his family and his friends who are all suffering today. And hopefully he is in a way better place. It seemed like he lived a really good life for only 48 years. And everybody is urging his family is go get checked. I am due for my first colonoscopy, and I got to go and do that because I got things to live for. So anyways, I don't want to bum everybody out, but I think everybody knew about that. I mean, Rebecca was beside herself. She was crying about this earlier because, and that's not even silly. There are those things. You just have such good feelings around somebody. And I think that's even what we do here. It's like we can make fun of reality stars, but at the same time, they're ours. We lay claim sometimes on pop culture figures. I mean, not, in the cute parasocial way, not the creepy parasocial way. But there are so many people that have just added so much to my life personally, and I know yours as well. And so if James Vanderbeek was one of those people to you, my heart goes out to all of you. So that's enough of the sadness. Let's get on to some insanity. Surprise! It's me, Jill Zarin. You won't be seeing me on E! Now, the last you heard from me, I believe, was on Tuesday on the Brian Moylan interview, and we did a segment beforehand about Jill Zarin. About her comments from the Super Bowl. And when you think when you think that Bad Bunny was involved in Jill Zarin not being a part of the new E! show, that's insane. Because you know damn well Bad Bunny has never heard Jill Zarin's name until this week. And who knows if he's even aware of this. But yes, I told you the other night, I did not think E! was going to make the move to fire her, not have her be a part of the Golden Life, the Roni reboot of the OG Roni ladies. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought they were going to ride it out. And to the production company's credit, they obviously are sending a strong signal that they are not wanting, because I said the other night, I said, I bet they do this as a storyline. I bet one of the first episodes is the ladies going, Jill, you really stuck your foot in your mouth with your racist ways, I don't know who I was imitating right there. I thought they would, or I would, if I was producing that show, maybe that's what I would suggest of like deal with it head on. Now that production company is saying, I think this is a clear sign, is that they don't want a show of any sort of seriousness, or they want an easy breezy show. I don't think this is going to be an hour show. This seems like it's going to be a half-hour show. So they made the move to let go of Jill Zarin. And we'll talk about Jill's reaction in a second because she gave a quote, I think, to In Touch Weekly. But we had the news today, and I do mention this briefly in the Sophie Ross Summer House recap as well. But it went to print today that Dorinda Medley has joined the cast And a lot of people are saying she's replacing Jill Zarin, but the reality of that is Dorinda was always going to be a part of The Golden Life. They just didn't announce it yet. And my theory on that is that she was going to just make sporadic appearances. And I do know that Dorinda has a show that's going to be on Peacock and I think Bravo, or both, one, maybe the other, and it's the Bluestone Manor show. This was announced in 2024 that they were developing this series, and I believe that the OG, the Ultimate Girls Trip road trip that just finished filming, celebrating 20 years of Housewives, I know they end at Bluestone Manor with Dorinda throwing a party. And from my understanding is that party is kind of the pilot episode of Dorinda's Bluestone Manor spinoff. This has not been hidden. In fact, I even think Dorinda talked about working on this show on her Sirius XM radio show. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you guys will. But I'm now curious, like, so does Bravo not have an exclusivity package on Dorinda? Is she able to go do an E show? Because these aren't the same, Versant now owns E and NBC Universal is Bravo. There was a split that happened at the end of last year. So they are obviously letting Dorinda do both shows. And I have to imagine that they're going to just bump Dorinda up and have her be in more episodes instead of sporadically. And if that's the case, I hope Dorinda got a lot more ching, 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 because this production company and E is doing a lot of heavy lifting to get the stink off this project. Because this project is now, it just reminds people of all the bad behavior of the OG Roni ladies. And we've been going through the OG Roni on my Patreon, and I've been loving it. Oh, my God. But, you can't go back. I keep saying that. Sometimes you just can't go back. And, I think we all thought Ramona was going to be the one. Ramona was going to be the one to say something this idiotic this quickly, but it was Jill Zarin. Jill Zarin has shot herself in the foot so many times. She was supposed to be part of Roni Legacy a couple of years ago. She demanded too much money. She was not asked to be back on Watch What Happens Live after a certain incident on Watch What Happens Live. She was let go of the original Roni. There's a series of incidents where Jill seems to have wanted to get back on TV, and she's always managed to bungle it some way, And Jill does not need the money. This is not a thing about financial security because Jill has money. But secretly, I don't even think it's that secret, is that she really wants to be on TV. She wants it. She needs it. She craves this kind of attention. But I think when you have your ego, and I speculated about this the other day, and just so you know, this is all speculation, is that she was just really full of herself in the moment. Is that I think a lot of the OG fans were like, hell yeah, we get our OG Roni ladies back, because that's all we do. We bitch about not having OG Roni. And we always forget about the actual problems that the OG Roni's ladies brought with their form of entertainment. Because this is not characters. This is who they really are. And I think it's just... I think what Jill said was reprehensible in a lot of ways. And I think it was so on the nose. They were the sad thing is I still don't think I think Jill might think of herself as a victim instead of actually trying to understand why they're not going to be moving forward with Jill. And what I didn't hear from her comments in that In Touch Weekly was any kind of real recognition of what she said and why that is considered racist. I said that the other day. Racist is such a hot button word, as it should be, that we all have such strong reactions to that you either can listen to that word or you get turned off immediately and don't hear what anybody is saying past that. Folks, as you know, in 6 short weeks, we will welcome our first child, and we're going to be so busy trying to keep this baby happy and healthy that we need to remember we need to feed ourselves. And that's where our friends at Factor come in, because they help you make eating easy, and they can make it healthy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. So you can eat well without the planning or the cooking, and it's healthy. I'm a huge fan of their ginger teriyaki salmon, their smoky barbecue chicken breast, their green chili chicken. All of those things are going to come so in handy. They use quality functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. And these are meals that are going to fit your goals and your schedule. So you can even go on their website and it'll give you different categories for healthier eating, calorie management, more protein. And it's so many options. There's 100 rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh and delicious through winter. The options include high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, GLP-1 support, and ready-to-eat salads. Plus, the new Muscle Pro collection supports strength and recovery. Always fresh, never frozen, ready in about 2 minutes. No prep, no stress. So head to factormeals.com/SOBAD50OFF. Use code SOBAD50OFF. That's SOBAD50OFF to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan, one free breakfast item per box for 1 year, while subscription is auto-renewing. So I think I do wonder if anybody is truly sitting Jill down and going like, hey, and especially as a Jewish woman, maybe how you are viewing people it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. And I'm not out there, like, I see a lot of people taking a victory lap with Jill getting fired. And, like, I don't think, I don't agree with what Jill said at all, but there's no part of me that's like, LOL. No, I mean, that's horrific. It's horrific that she said it. And I do understand and I support the decision to not have her be a part of this. But at the same time, I'm like, look at the people you're dealing with. We're still going to be like, we know who Ramona is. We know, like, I mean, it's going to be an interesting, they've got a tough uphill battle with that show at this point. And I was kind of thinking they were just going to throw the whole thing away, but they are full steam ahead. So we will see. I mean, the only thing that is darkly comic is that she does shoot herself in the foot like this over and over again. And I hope she is smart enough to not play the victim with this, is to understand why this hurts people and why, I don't also, she said there was no white people out there on the Super Bowl, which is incorrect, but also, so what? So what? Is the Super Bowl, the NFL just supposed to be white people? Like, I mean, like, that's insane. It's insane. And I watched the clip. I watched 2 of the clips she put, and she was saying it with her whole chest. She was like, it's how I think. It's how I think. Yes, everybody has the freedom of speech, but you also do not have freedom from consequences for that freedom of speech. That's the hard thing that everybody forgets. And E and Versant, they have the choice on who they want to work with. And that is not up to us. Now, I do believe that there is a world in which we see her actually go to the second season of Members Only Palm Beach on Netflix. I was like, we already know, Jill's like, keeps saying she's best friends with that Hillary lady from that show. But like, they all think the same way Jill does. So maybe she'll now just go to the second season of that. Who knows? Anyways, this is from In Touch Weekly. Jill Zarin breaks silence after being fired from Roni reunion show for Bad Bunny comments. And Blink 49 Studios is the production company that did this. And they wrote, in light of recent public comments made by Jill Zarin, we have decided not to move forward with her involvement in the Golden Life. We remain committed to delivering the series in line with our company standards and values. And they released this to Variety on what day is it? On Tuesday. So Zarin tells In Touch exclusively, they didn't even give me a chance. I took it down right away. People make mistakes. I'm human. Okay, now I agree with the people make mistakes, and I agree with I'm human. But they didn't even give me a chance. I took it down right away. So let's break that down. They didn't even give me a chance. So if you post something blatantly racist, are you supposed to give? I mean, I feel like her getting this show in the first place is a second chance. I think Jill's gotten a lot of chances. And Jill's out there. I mean, like I said, Jill is living high on the hog. She has a great life, but they didn't even give me a chance. I feel like she's gotten many chances in her day, but she said, I took it down right away. People make mistakes. I'm human. But what I'm not hearing from this very short statement is that she realizes the hurt that her kind of language inspires, Anyways, a lot of fellow Housewives stars, including Tamra Judge, Chanel Ayan, and Margaret Josephs, they were livid as well. A lot of people have been livid. And then this is a weird quote that somebody provided too. This sounds like it could come from Jill, but it says, "Everyone on the internet is up in arms because they love Jill, and we're finally getting her back," a source tells In Touch. E made a snap decision without even taking into account that Jill took it down right away. Jill will be back. This won't keep her down. People love her. That will never change. Jill, yeah, I mean, this first off sounds like a threat. Jill will be back. No, everyone on the internet was not up in arms about this. In fact, that's actually the one part that did make me sad for Jill Zarin, was it seemed like universally people were praising this decision. I mean, it wasn't even like split. I mean, and if you're one of the supporters, I mean, good on you, but I mainly saw people universally saying this is the right move, and actually taking it a lot of steps further. And E made a snap decision without even taking into account that Jill took it down right away. Jill took it down right away. That's the same language that Jill used. So this is why I think it could be Jill. But I don't know, snap decision. I have a feeling that maybe Jill, I would take from this that also Jill might be, it seems difficult to work with, I would speculate. And maybe the production company is like, we've already had it. This is the final straw. I mean, I do wonder if Ramona's like, woo, dodged a bullet. I was about to post about Bad Bunny. How many housewives out there in the last day have posted something with Bad Bunny music, or just like, I love Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny's my favorite. Oh my God. Love that man. Puerto Rico forever. So this is what In Touch Weekly said. Now, this was, I was like, Jill is not going to be having a good week, because I'm not a huge fan of Reddit, but I have been sent a post by her step grandson, Bobby Zarin, rest in peace. His grandson did an Ask Me Anything on Reddit and had a lot of choice words about Jill Zarin. Let's see if this post is still up. One sec. Okay, so the post says, "I am Jill Zarin's step-grandson, AMA. Ask me anything." He says, "I'm willing to confirm with the moderators if necessary." I also made another post, so if I don't answer a question, that's why. If you are a member of the media, feel free to DM me, because I don't think anyone else in my family really wants to give a statement out of fear that she'll do something, i.e. a defamation lawsuit. So sorry if I'm conservative with my replies. I'm also the one who made the picture of her face with an X on it on the Zarin Fabrics Instagram, which we talked about on Tuesday's show. And then he edited it saying, "Genuinely not sure what proof you guys want. Here's a video of my eulogy for my grandpa's funeral. Don't think it has been posted anywhere, although I could be wrong, and here's my Instagram." Okay, so he really proves that this is him. And let's get to some of his answers here and some of the questions. Here's one. Micah, I live across the street from Zarin Fabrics. Recently, they cleared out the top floor and keep leaving the light on overnight. It shines in my window all night. Could you ask them to turn it off at night? Thank you in advance. He wrote, "I'll ask my dad tomorrow. He told me to stop responding to questions because I have to do my physics homework." Oh boy. Edit. He said, "We don't own the building, but can pass the word along to the landlord." Okay. So things are happening on this thread. Let's get to a good one. Okay. Let's see. First of all, New York City 587 says, "First of all, I'm sorry you had to deal with this woman. Second of all, my question is, on Ultimate Girls Trip, Dorinda said to Jill, you were talking about a new guy at Bobby's funeral, and the scene went in other chaotic directions, and it was never talked about again. Do we think Jill and the new guy, Gary, were already a thing before your grandpa even died? That's cold-blooded and awful. She's always been an asshole. Fantastic work on the Jill post on Zarin's IG." And he just wrote, "Thank you." He didn't answer that question. But my God, I don't think Jill had another guy before. Oh, that's dark. Here's one. What is hypothetically the most unhinged thing a certain family member has said or done? I think hypothetically they mean Jill, at a holiday dinner table. And he wrote, "My grandpa had this Ferrari and the brake handle wasn't working and the car rolled out of the garage and she threatened my dad with a knife." Oh my goodness. Jill threatened Bobby's son with a knife? And like I said, this is all alleged. Alleged. Here's one. Given your family isn't on speaking terms, why do you think she still talks about Zarin rugs? Just a week or so ago, she said that the rugs for a Real Housewives reunion set were ugly and they should have asked for Zarin rugs. Before your post today, things like that made me think she was active in the business. And he wrote, because Zarin rugs aren't affiliated with Zarin fabrics. That's true. Now, Jill Zarin still uses the Zarin name, but she has a rug line which is separate from the fabrics. I didn't even understand that until a couple of days ago. What was the reaction to her having them film at Bobby's funeral? And he had wrote, thank you. My uncle and aunt were literally in the funeral home when Jill told them she invited Bravo to film the funeral. And he put this in all capitals. They were in the funeral home planning the funeral. My dad and his brother and sister didn't know what to say. She was the wife, and like they felt like they couldn't do anything. They were so disgusted. And by the way, years later, and Bethany said something to the effect of like, oh, I'm glad Jill told me the Bravo cameras just showed up. I thought she invited them, and that was disgusting. And Jill lied to her. LOL, he wrote. So he is saying that Jill invited the Bravo cameras from the very start, but told people they just showed up. We are talking once again about our friends over at Mint Mobile. I got my dad set up on Mint Mobile over the holidays. It was so easy to do, but we all know there's every group, there's someone who insists on doing things the hard way. You know, that friend still paying for a subscription that they forgot they had, or that one refusing to update their phone because it still works. I used to be that person. My family are like those people, and especially when it came to overpaying for wireless. And then I switched my dad, and I'm about to switch myself to Mint Mobile, and I am so glad I did. Stop paying too much for wireless just because that's how it's always been. Mint exists purely to fix that. Same coverage, same speed, just without the inflated price tag. The premium wireless you expect, unlimited talk, text, and data, but at a fraction of what others charge. And for a limited time, get 50% off 3, 6, or 12-month plans of unlimited premium wireless. You can bring your own phone and number. We did that with my dad. You can activate with eSIM in minutes and start saving immediately. No long-term contracts, no hassle. And with a 7-day money-back guarantee and customer satisfaction ratings in the mid-90s, Mint makes it easy to try and see why people don't go back. So, are you ready to stop paying more than you have to? New customers can make the switch today, and for a limited time, get unlimited premium wireless for just $15 per month. So switch now at mintmobile.com/sobad. That's mintmobile.com/sobad. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 a month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Over 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. Additional terms apply. See mintmobile.com. Oh, that is dark. How old is this kid? I hope nobody tried to... Anyways, did you ever receive nice gifts from her during holidays? He wrote, when we were little, she would give my sister like tons of gifts, and she'd like give me like a pack of Pokemon cards or something. I appreciated the cards, but in hindsight, it was fucked. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I wonder if Jill's tried to get this taken down. I don't think you can take down Reddit things. Have you watched the show? I confess I found her so endearing because she reminded me of my own lightly toxic Yenta family members. I'm curious if you think she got a flattering edit, which may be why this is coming such as a surprise to me. He said, I've only watched the episode I was in, which was the celebrity wife swap episode. Here's one. Allie seems really sweet and not like her mom. Is that the case? Allie, of course, Jill's daughter. And he said, this is from my sister. Right before Poppy, which is Bobby's funeral, it has just been my birthday. And mom and dad always made this joke that like when I stayed up too late, the tooth fairy wouldn't come. So one night I stayed up too late and the tooth fairy didn't come. But the tooth fairy from England did come and left me English money. And Allie was going on vacation right before Poppy's funeral and told me she would buy me a gift before she went away. So I gave her the money and she never brought me back a gift. Oh my God. From his mom said she was really nice to you guys. I wouldn't write that. Oh, wow. So it seems like the family's all in the same room as he's answering these questions. Oh, this is great. Does she fart a lot? Oh, you guys. Um, let's see. Any other good ones in here? Here's one. It says Andy from New York City with a question. Jill had one job, now she has none. Have there been other experiences in past, maybe non-televised, where she's shot herself in the foot this way? And he wrote, this is definitely the biggest self-sabotage she's ever done. I can't think of any specific examples, but what I can say is that this is true to her nature of who she actually is as a person. She just doesn't treat people well unless she thinks there is something in it for her. In fact, when I was little, my babysitter, who was the granddaughter of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, was in an off-Broadway show that her mother was in. Coincidentally, Jill was sitting behind her. And when she turned around to introduce herself as my babysitter, Jill blew her off. After the show, when Jill saw her give her mom a big hug and realize who she was, Jill went up to her with a completely different attitude. So I guess that's an example, but the babysitter at the time was just a struggling actor, like she wasn't some wealthy heir. Anyway, I don't like to call women bitches, but if I did do that, that may be a label I would use to describe her. Jeez. Yay. Somebody said there was a post in here talking about, I mean, it seems like this Bobby's family does not like Jill, but I swear to God, somebody said there was a post in here talking how Bobby changed his will, and that's how Jill didn't get the business at all of Zarin Fabrics. What I will say is that we call her Jill Shitpiro because my mom's name is also Jill Zarin, but the evil Jill Zarin's middle name is Shapiro. We don't like calling her by that last name. She doesn't deserve it. Oh my goodness. Here's one. Why doesn't your family speak with Jill anymore? And he wrote, I don't know how much detail I can give because she is a very vengeful person and will sue our family for defamation if she wants to. But there were legal disputes surrounding Bobby's estate when I was young, and I don't have firsthand knowledge. This all happened when I was really little, so I don't know for sure. Draw your own conclusion, I guess. And then he wrote in this other one, during the years the show was on, my dad lost customers. They'd receive emails on a daily basis about how horrible Jill is. Correction from my dad. Zarin Fabrics does not sell rugs. Jill started a rug business that has nothing to do with Zarin. Okay, so that keeps coming up. This will not surprise anyone, but I used to wait until the very last minute to reorder my contacts. We call that the last pair of contacts panic. Or you'd be completely out and you would be stuck wearing your big, ugly glasses. I mean, yours are great, but mine were ugly. Now I don't even have to worry about it because my next set is always on the way from 1-800-CONTACTS. They're the only major contact lens retailer that lets me renew my prescription online so I can get my contacts fast. 1-800-CONTACTS has fast, free shipping and delivers the same contacts my doctor prescribes right to my door, all without ever leaving my home. Now, for over 30 years, 1-800-CONTACTS has been the leader in online contact lens delivery with millions of contacts in stock and award-winning customer service. Here's what sets them apart from everyone else. They offer free, fast shipping on every order and have over 100 million contact lenses in stock, ready to ship from their distribution centers across the country. They have free returns, and exchanges mean that you can order confidently. They even offer unbeatable perks like free torn lens replacement. They also provide a way to renew your contact lens prescription from home with their online vision exam. It's called the Express Exam. It takes less than 10 minutes and gives you a doctor-issued prescription you can use to buy contact lenses. No other major retailer makes prescription renewal this easy. Their best price guarantee also means if you can find your contacts at a lower price elsewhere, they're going to beat that price. That's a promise you will not find anywhere else. They also have extra discounts for new customers on their site, and their 24/7 customer support is there if you ever need help day or night. Getting contacts doesn't have to be a hassle. Let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need right now. Order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com or download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. The last one I'll read you. Somebody asked, "I saw you weren't on speaking terms with Jill, but not what about Allie?" And he said, "Not really. It's not her fault. Allie is extremely connected to Jill, and because Jill has done so much harm to the Zarin family, we have detached from them as much as we humanly can. And Instagram, that means having to detach from Allie. Also, before my grandpa passed away, he said he didn't want Allie to be in his will." Yikes, man. I was just speculating on the Patreon the other day because, listen, I mean, what you see is that Bobby Zarin loved Jill Zarin. And Jill obviously is happy with her new guy, Gary, and I think they've been together for a couple of years. And they seem, but Bobby just seemed like he lived for Jill, if you remember those. He just, anything, he was always just that kind of stoic, silent guy that whatever Jill wanted, Jill got. And you knew he was like a powerful guy, but he was just very soft-spoken, which I kind of loved. And then, you read some of these things and just how it affected other family members. But anyways, that was sent to me. I thought it was interesting, so I wanted to read some of that to you guys. But like I said, that is all alleged. Anybody can write anything on Reddit, but he seemed to have a lot of information. Okay, actually, one last thing. It shouldn't have tickled my funny bone, but it did because, everybody, me with a loud mouth, everybody else with a loud mouth, and Joe Giudice with a loud mouth. Joe Giudice is not even allowed to live in America anymore, but he felt the need to weigh in on the great Bad Bunny Super Bowl debate. Shouldn't be a debate. It was free to watch, and you could turn it off, whatever. But this is what Joe Giudice had to say.
I gotta say, the game was okay. All right, but that halftime show, what the hell's going on over there, man, in America? Shit's got to stop. You know what I mean? This BS has got to stop. All right? This woke-ass crap. The hell's going on over there, man? People need to go get your damn brains washed or something. You need to, seriously snap out of this stupidness. All right? You make people around the world look at this crap and saying, what the hell's wrong with these people? That was some stupid halftime show, let me tell you. Very stupid halftime show.
What are you guys doing? You speaking Spanish on a Super Bowl show. What the fuck? What's going on over there with your woke nonsense? You're making a fool all the people around the world. They're like, what the fuck with the Spanish? This is what I'm talking about. It's like, I can acknowledge my own hypocritical behavior, but my God, if that doesn't take the hypocrite cake. This man served prison time. This man had his wife go to prison for tax evasion, for finance fraud, and he's not even allowed back in the States. And he's like, you know what really fucking offended me? Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl halftime show. You got to get your brain scrubbed. Like, are you out of your mind? This woke nonsense. What is the woke nonsense? That it was, I'm trying to, what was it? Was it the Spanish part? Was it that there was gay people on the field? What? I still, I'm still just really trying to understand because I've seen a lot of Super Bowl halftime shows. I was alive when Janet Jackson showed her nipple, and it was Justin Bieber. Justin Timberlake ripped the patch off. Janet Jackson took the fall when they both knew what was going to happen. The guy was around for the nipple thing. A female nipple, I like it, but I guess, you're not supposed to do that on network television. I get a teeny bit of the outrage over that, but this, I don't understand the outrage. Holy shit. 15 minutes. We are soft. But Joe Giudice is going to say something of oh, get your head. Well, thank God you're not here, Joe. Look what happened we've just gone crazy. We now have a Spanish halftime show. Holy shit. I love it. Teresa Giudice, though, the next day, she posted a carousel and she used Bad Bunny's song. She was like, Joe, I like Bad Bunny. I think he's great. So Teresa letting the world know, and probably her employers at Bravo, that she's great with, she likes the bunny. She likes the good bunny. She likes the bad bunny. But that tickled me. I'm like, everybody's also, wouldn't you realize maybe I'm the one to not express my opinions about America when I have the Justice Department going after me for actual things that I did. It's always the people that never actually follow the laws that have the most to say. It's like we always tell on ourselves. Okay, moving on. This was interesting. This came out on Monday, actually. Britney Spears sold her entire music catalog. So she just signed a massive music deal, and she sold the rights to her extensive music catalog, TMZ says, and she sold her ownership share of catalog to Primary Wave, which is a huge music publisher. Now, it's unclear exactly how much Britney was paid for the music, but they are saying that this is a landmark deal, and it's in the ballpark of the $200 million deal Justin Bieber signed when he sold his music. Now, Britney is managed by a guy named Cade Hudson, and this deal was signed on December 30th, and TMZ says their sources say she's happy with the sale and has been celebrating by spending time with her kids. Now, this is a pretty smart deal by Primary Wave, because get this, like, just think of, we forget how many hits Britney had. You Drive Me Crazy, Baby One More Time, Break the Ice, Circus, Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know, Every Time, Give Me More, Hold It Against Me, I Want to Go, If You Seek Amy, I'm a Slave for You, I'm Not a Girl, Not Yet a Woman, which was actually the original title of this podcast, Lucky, My Prerogative, which is a cover, Oops, I Did It Again, Overprotected, Piece of Me, Sometimes, Stronger, Till the World Ends, Toxic, Womanizer. And that's just a fraction of her songs. They get all of these songs. Now, this is not unheard of by musical artists. Like I just said, Justin Bieber did it in the last couple of years. But Bruce Springsteen sold his catalog, Bob Dylan, Paul Simon, Neil Young, Shakira, Kiss, Sting, Phil Collins, Stevie Nicks. Now, Stevie sold an 80% stake in her publishing catalog in 2020, and at that time, her copyrights were reportedly valued at about $100 million. And that's just for Stevie Nicks' solo work. That's not Fleetwood Mac. But $200 million. But I also think this is a sign of, and I think in Britney's case, I don't foresee Britney doing a lot in the music industry. You know, like I could see, and I'm not joking here, I could see her signing some kind of AI deal, which would be weirdly sad, but I could see her managers trying to find ways to make money for her and off of her, without her having to do any kind of in-person commitments. I think Britney is on her own journey, and hopefully she is able to do that in a healthy, happy environment. But I thought this was really interesting. So hopefully that is truly what she wants, but she has sold the rights to her music catalog. So that means I would imagine you'll hear a lot more Britney Spears songs in movies and TV shows, because they will be looking to recoup that $200 million. But it is smart in terms of the lasting legacy, in terms of like 100 years from now, that somebody like a huge company like Primary Wave, they're going to be looking at, the next 100 years, to try to keep her name out there. And Britney's not going to have to do that herself. So I thought that was really, really smart. Oh, did you guys see this the other day? You know how Rebecca and I are huge. We're huge Dancing with the Stars fans now, right? Even though we've only watched one complete season, I would say we're the biggest Dancing with the Stars fans there's ever been. Well, anyways, on Monday, Tuesday morning, they announced big news on Good Morning America. And I thought they were going to announce like another TV show, or maybe like a 2 seasons a year of Dancing with the Stars. But what they announced was Dancing with the Stars announces its first fan convention. So they are stepping out of the ballroom and into real life, Good Morning America reports. It's going to host its first ever fan convention. It's going to be a live show this summer, and it gives fans a chance to meet their favorite pros and celebrities while celebrating all things Dancing with the Stars. It's called Dancing with the Stars Con 2026, and it's going to be a 3-day immersive experience featuring live dance performances, panels, Q&A sessions, interactive photo opportunities, exhibits, and exclusive merchandise inspired by the hit ABC competition show, which recently marked 20 years on the air. Dancing with the Stars pro Whitney Carson said, "It's really cool because it's never been done before. You're going to have access to pros and celebrities, which is really fun, and we're just really excited to see you guys there. It's going to take place in Palm Springs, California at Acrisure Arena. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. And it's going to be running for 3 days from Friday, July 31st through Sunday, August 2nd. And the pros that are going to be there, you're going to have Brandon Armstrong, Lindsay Arnold, Riley Arnold, Alan Burston, Haley Bills, Sharna Burgess, Whitney Carson, Val Shermakowski. I can't say Val's last name. Val Shmurgowski, sorry, damn it. Sasha Farber, Jenna Johnson, Daniela Karagas, Pasha Pashkov, Jan, our favorite Jan is going to be there. I am Jan. I dance for Taylor Swift, and now I'm a hot guy on Dancing with the Stars. Gleb's going to be there, Emma Slater, Ezra Sosa, and Britt Stewart. And then Celebrity Mirror Ball champions and fan favorites announced so far include Hannah Brown, Danielle Fishel, Xochitl Gomez, Joey Grazadeh, Elaine Hendricks, Rashad Jennings, Amanda Klutz, Whitney Levitt, Phaedra Parks, Jojo Siwa, Johnny Weir, Rumor Willis, Christy Yamaguchi, and Ginger Z. Also, Dancing with the Stars judge Bruno Tanioli will also appear, with more talent to be announced. Tickets are going to be available to purchase through a number of pre-sales as well as a general sale a few days later. So the Verizon pre-sale will be Thursday, February 12th, which is today at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then there's a Mirror Ball pre-sale going on at the same time. And then the general sale starts Saturday, February 14th at 10 a.m. By the way, I'm promoting this. I don't get anything from this. But how much are tickets gonna run you, Ryan? How much is this gonna cost us? How do we find out how much this costs? Because this is not in the article. One sec, you guys. To the internet! Okay, here we go. It says 3-day passes start at $199 plus fees for general admission, but then you can buy upgrades, which give you further different packages and meet and greet opportunities. And I think the VIP, you add $500 to that, but $200 for your base 3-day pass, but then you're going to have to get a place to stay in Palm Springs. Now, we will have a new child, and I don't know if I want my child to know that I'm Dancing with the Stars obsessive. So I probably will not be going unless anybody out there listening from ABC wants me to cover the event, and I could be like a live man on the scene and, just get man on the street interviews. Happy to do it, ABC. Hit me up. So if you're a Dancing with the Stars junkie, that seems like it might be a good gift, or it might be a good gift to yourself. Treat yourself. They said Whitney Levitt from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, she's going to be there. And remember, she is on Broadway right now with Chicago, and she's supposedly doing amazing. Rebecca told me the other day that this has been the quickest selling Chicago of any of the stunt castings that they do, because Chicago has succeeded all of these years because they keep having they'll throw in Ariana Madix or Erica Jane or something. And I know Ariana Madix did really good with the sale, but I guess Whitney Levitt was the quickest that these tickets went, which I didn't realize how popular Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and Whitney Levitt is, but that's really amazing. And I hear she does great. I did watch a clip of her where she looked like she was doing great. So she's on there on Broadway. But if you don't get to see her there, see her at the Dancing with the Stars convention. Okay, a couple more things for you. If you are a fan of the show Selling Sunset, there is a great possibility that Christine Quinn from the first 2 seasons of Selling Sunset is possibly returning for season 10. Now, remember, Chriselle Staus is done with Selling Sunset. She announced her departure, but TMZ is reporting that multiple sources told them that production for the Netflix hit series is gauging Christine's interest in a possible return for season 10, asking whether she'd consider coming back. I think she would. I think she's on this next season of House of Villains. Oh, which is so funny, you guys. There was this guy on the cruise in San Francisco, Johnny Middlebrooks, I believe. He's on this next season of House of Villains. And Kate Chastain, who was on the cruise as well, love Kate, talked to her. But I talked to Johnny Middlebrooks because Sandoval is on that season of House of Villains. And I said, what was it like with Sandoval? What was it like where he's like, man, that dude's a pussy? He literally goes, man, that dude's a pussy. I was like, geez, Johnny. So it sounds like, it sounds like a good season. Anyways, Christine Quinn, I guess they're eyeing a return. I don't know, like that show is so far from any sort of real reality, so why not? But it's like, yes, Christine comes back to work at the Oppenheim Group. Like it's just so fake at this point. Like, I don't know, whatever. It's like when what's her name came back to the hills, or what's why am I not Elsie, but I'm tired, you guys. Anyways, I don't know. If you're a Christine Quinn fan, good luck. Okay. Also, man, the Savannah Guthrie, her mom is still missing, Nancy Guthrie. It's day 11 of her being missing. And there was a lot of movement on this case yesterday. That they released ring cam footage. They were, which first off, they did not. They have the ring cam. I guess Nancy Guthrie had the ring cam where they didn't pay to like have that footage stored. So you're not supposed to have that footage. That's what they said. But then we magically got the footage yesterday, which means that, surveillance state, right? But they got the footage and it's really creepy if you see it. It's a guy in a mask with black gloves, and he's trying to, he has a flashlight in his mouth, and you can kind of make out some of his eyes. A lot of people were like AI enhancing the image to make it color, and I don't recommend that because it does change the image a little bit, and I just saw so many people pointing the finger in so many crazy directions. Like, oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's got to be this guy. They thought they had a solid lead, and they pulled over this DoorDasher guy, and people were on the scene talking to this man's mother going like, they just came into our house and like arrested my son or like detained my son. And he's like, he definitely didn't do it. He was with me on this Saturday night, and it like the guy was freed, but like they broke down his door and stuff because they got a tip that it was this guy, but it wasn't this guy at all. But I really thought there was a rumor that an 84-year-old had been airlifted to the hospital. There were all these rumors out there, and it's really hard. The rumors and the nastiness, as Meredith Marks would say, it's really frustrating, as Lisa Barlow would say, because there's so much misinformation out there that you kind of take as fact. And it's really hard because a lot of people that report these things, they're not reporters, they're not journalists. And so they just get excited and they think they're doing something good. And they're at the same time, they're getting egged on by everybody because they're like, this is great, more. And they're getting clicks and all this shit. But it usually proves to be wrong, and it's highly damaging. They say they found the glove about 1.5 miles away, the glove that it looked like this man was wearing in the video. But there's no confirmation if it was this man's glove. They said there's a bit, since that video was released, that there have been a lot of tips to the call line. But then I found this article from Yahoo Entertainment, yahoo.com. It says Savannah Guthrie's brother-in-law hasn't been seen for a week as police search his home twice. Here's the last photo of him. And it says Savannah Guthrie's brother-in-law, Tommaso Cioni, hasn't been seen in a week as police search his and his wife and Savannah's sister, Annie Guthrie's home. And it says Tommaso was last photographed on February 3rd, 2 days after Nancy went missing. But I'm like, is this true? I feel like we would have heard about this before today. And a lot of people have speculated that, the brother has something to do with it. And part of me just thinks that because the guy's like very tall and he's got like a big beard and he looks a little tough. And they say, they haven't zoned in on anybody. We have not identified a suspect or person of interest in the case, the detective said. A lot of people are even saying, okay, it might not be Tommaso, but it might be a gentleman that's in his band. One of it, I guess Tommaso has a band, and it might be one of the guys in the band, but there's no proof for any of these things. And I think after 11 days, I would imagine for the family, it's so hard to hold out hope because this is an 84-year-old woman that was on medication, that has a pacemaker. And, and then I saw a lot of really cruel, heartless people online going like, enough of this shit on the news. There are other people that go missing. Of like, yes, of course, you're right. The world is unfair. But also the reason why this is on the news is because this does well on the news. People were fascinated by this case. And then it's all heartless. Get him off the fucking. And then you hear the craziness of like, oh, there's an Epstein connection. Like, at this point, who knows? Maybe there is an Epstein connection, but I don't think so. Like, people are just pulling shit out of their asses, and it's infuriating because you're like, just let hard evidence. And I think when you blast all the information out to so many people, everybody are these kind of armchair detectives or, Reddit sleuths. And I think sometimes that can help the situation, but sometimes it can muddy the waters. Because, then you just have a bunch of, you have millions of Monday morning quarterbacks speculating about every move that is made. So we will see. There's not been a lot of information today. The Bitcoin account, somebody also put another ransom note saying that they know who did it, but they just want one Bitcoin, which I think is like hovering around $70,000. So they don't want the 6 million, but for 70,000, they'll get information because they know who it is. How can you verify any of this information? So as always, prayers go out to the Guthrie family. I can't imagine what they're going through. It just, I was really hoping that they caught the guy last night. I was like, I wasn't feeling well, but that came on the news. And then I just was like glued to like CNN, and I was just like flipping around news stations trying to see who was like reporting on it. But it looks like it was a false lead, and they got the wrong guy. Okay. And finally today, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. Oh God, if I don't go a day without hearing their names, I feel sick, but they appeared in person today at a New York City courthouse. Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively in the same room. Oh my God, the sexual tension, you guys. But it came, this was kind of like a mediation to see if they could come to some sort of resolution and not go to trial. But it looks like they were unsuccessful in reaching any kind of resolution. Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, said the hearing took place at the U.S. District Court in New York City. And this is, like I said, the first time they appeared in court, the first time they appeared in person together since their legal battle started in December of 2024. When Lively filed a complaint against Baldoni alleging sexual harassment and retaliation on the set of their 2024 film. Now, Wednesday's proceeding was closed to members of the media and the public. The two stars arrived separately. Yeah, that makes sense. It would be crazy if they arrived together. Baldoni with his wife, Emily, and Lively with her team. I guess Ryan's not on her team. They spent a majority of the day in separate courtrooms, according to a source familiar with the proceedings. Magistrate Judge Sarah L. Cave went back and forth between both legal teams. Ooh, she's good. I've heard good things about Sarah L. Cave. No, I've never heard of her in my life. Brian Friedman, the lawyer, told reporters outside the courtroom in Manhattan that Baldoni and Lively's camp would return to court Thursday for a different matter on the docket, and he didn't specify whether Baldoni and Lively would be present. Friedman didn't rule out a possible settlement in the future, saying that there's always a chance and that he remains very hopeful and about how the case will proceed. Should the actors not reach a settlement, they will head to trial on May 18th. This is a really critical leverage point, NBC News legal analyst Misty Maris said. A lot of what the judge will point to in this particular case is the public spectacle of it all. And yeah, man, there's a lot of public speculation about this. According to Parrot Analytics, which tracks public sentiment via social media mentions and video comments, Lively had a positive sentiment of 81% in March of 2023, shortly after her casting in It Ends With Us was announced. By January 31st of this year, that sentiment had dropped to 10.6%. Holy shit, you guys. Went from an 80% positive to 10.6. And then positive sentiment for Baldoni dropped from a high of 62.5% in March of 2024 to 8.7% January 31st. These are just analytics about social media mentions, but part of this case is about people buying social media mentions. Remember, Russia influenced our 2016 election. Like, you can buy bot farms that will just sit there. You're probably, if you're on Twitter or Threads, you're probably arguing with a bot. But obviously both of these people have taken huge reputational hits. And they also pointed out that Blake Lively is seen by a lot of studios as a lightning rod at this point. Yeah, I think her career is ruined in a lot of ways. Unless Ryan Reynolds just cast her as like Deadpool or something like that. So this looks like they will not. I mean, it looks like it's going to go to trial. And Brian Friedman, Baldoni's lawyer, seems like he is ready for that. Even TMZ is reporting that, hey, Blake, it ends with trial. That was their clever headline. Not it ends with us, it ends with trial. So, yeah, this will never be figured out or fixed. But there will be some ruling either way. At this point, though, I don't know what it would take. What would it take, you guys? What would it take to satisfy both parties when both parties have had huge reputational damage done to their careers? And I'm so curious, if it does go to trial, which actors will be deposed? Will Taylor Swift end up being a part of this, since her text messages and emails have been out there for our viewing pleasure? Wild. Anywho, that's it today, folks. But remember, we have a whole Summer House recap. And then we got Southern Charm coming up. We got The Traitors. We got Beverly Hills. Tonight, we have a new episode of The Valley Persian Style, which I still highly recommend. I hope people are giving that show a shot. And we have a new season of Love Island, Love is Blind. Love is Blind Season 10. The first 5 episodes premiered today on Netflix, so go check that out. Anyways, sorry for taking Wednesday off. I appreciate you understanding that, and I will talk to you on Friday.